So what is it like? Well, I can only answer this for me. What is it like for me? I can say this. It can be hard, even indescribably so. Or, and this may surprise you a bit, it can hide in the background. It can be there where I'm not even thinking about it. It can be as little of an annoyance as, I don't know, nails that need clipped. It can be that, or it can be really, really hard, like it was this last Sunday. And I've had significant times in my life where it's been both. I've had some where it built up and it was so much that I couldn't deal with it, that I ended up in some very dark places. I've also had months at a time where it was in the background and it wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't mean it was gone. It didn't mean it would never be back. It didn't mean I didn't have to deal with it. I think in many cases, for those of us who are impacted with the chemical imbalance that isn't just a wish for or a work through an issue and then it's fine, which I respect those, man. Those are really hard, but it's great that they can be resolved and that they can go away. I would say that for me, it's much more like alcoholism or an addiction, in that even if I go for a long time and it's okay, it's always still there. It's always still a risk. Secondly, for me, it is that it always feels shameful. I guess I can't say always. It often feels shameful. And it feels like I'm letting other people down, that when I'm dealing with this, when I'm sitting there catatonic especially, but even aside from that, when I'm not just forced to kind of spend my day watching 80s movies, but rather when I'm at a spot where I just have these more mild effects, it's still shameful. It feels that way. Now, it shouldn't, because it isn't anything to be ashamed of. And if I can really put into your mind and your understanding the clear idea, the clear picture that this is not something to be ashamed of, I would love to do that. I'd love to burn that into your brain. But inside, what it feels like is that it's something to be ashamed of. That, my goodness, I struggle with this. Now, if practically, it's not really different than struggling with a cold or a flu or something like that. It has a significant impact. It brings us down for a little period of time. We get over it. But our head, the stories in our head tell us different things. They tell us, oh man, you're letting people down. Other people might look at us and not really see anything wrong. And so we think we're going to be judged when we're ashamed to talk about it. We don't bring it up. It's not an acceptable topic. And guys, all of that is not okay, but it's the little lies that get told in our head. Third is that it most of the time isn't about sad and happy. This is probably the biggest misunderstanding that I encounter, is most people think, oh, you're depressed. That means you're dealing with depression. That must mean you're sad. No, it's a depressed state. And for me, again, I can only speak for me, but for me and for many others that I've spoken with, what I would say is that most of the time when I'm having my biggest struggles, it isn't that I'm super sad. It isn't that if I were happy, it would be better. It's that it's gray. It's that it's washed out. It's that it feels heavy. It feels tight. It feels like just oppressive, like it's kind of swallowing me up. And that's far more heartbreaking than sad. I have an idea how to deal with sad. I have an idea what to do with that. I have an idea how to counteract it with happy. But when you have this oppressive straitjacket of grayness swallowing you up, it is soul crushing. It also doesn't mean, by the way, that all is bad or that bad things are going to happen. This depression, anxiety that I deal with, it's a fact of life. It's a thing, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's a little bit like the flu. It's a little bit like maybe a chronic disease, a chronic pain, but it doesn't have to be debilitating. It doesn't have to be preventing progress and preventing the good that we do in the world. It doesn't mean that all is bad or bad things will happen. And I mentioned a moment ago that it isn't much of the time it's not about sad and happy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, yes, when I'm depressed, I do feel sad or I feel upset about something. The grayness is much more common for me, but I just wanted to highlight that it isn't always about sad and happy. And it definitely doesn't mean that all is bad or that bad things will happen. If you're a person who struggles with this, one of the key messages I can give you is that it will pass. And that bad things aren't necessarily going to happen. There's not a cause and effect here. This is our mind telling us things that aren't necessarily accurate. It's a little bit like an allergy, where an allergy response is what? It's our body fighting back against something that isn't necessarily real. And that is how depression works. It's our mind fighting back against something that isn't necessarily real. I have to say, it's not easy, or for that matter, always even possible to ask for help. And we talked about it a little bit ago, that sometimes it's just not possible because people aren't really around. Most of us, though, have people at some point in some space who have said, yes, call me if you need it, and actually mean it. we tend to convince ourselves that they didn't mean it, or that they aren't available, or we don't want to inconvenience them. My answer to you is make the call, reach out, do that. But it's not easy. I'll give you a good reason. We don't know how. We don't know what to ask for. We don't know what help we need. This last weekend when I sat there and I could barely move, and I did end up watching some 80s movies, which is a little crazy as a cure, but it was more of what I could do. I could turn the TV on. That was really hard, but I did it. And then thankfully, for a few of them, I got to sit and spend time with my son, and that definitely helped. Anytime I get to spend with him is wonderful. He is my world. He is my joy. He also struggles in some of these areas. And I will tell you that I couldn't ask for help. I have 100, maybe 1,000 people who I'm confident would be willing to help, but I didn't know what to ask for. If you're the person who wants to help, don't just offer. Find a way to do it. Find a way to just be there. Even if you go sit with them, even if you recognize, hey, they've been a little radio silent, or that tone didn't sound right, and do it. Show that you love by showing up. One of the hardest things for me is that this thing that I deal with, this grayness, this struggle, is that it's not a one-time thing, and it doesn't just go away. Man, I wish that it did. I wish that it would just poof, be gone. For some people that I know that have struggled with this, it does, when it's related to a story that they've told themselves, or a trauma from the past, or other things that are in that space. Then it can go away and they can get pretty much completely past it. In my case, it's been about minimizing its effect on my life. It's been about how do I move through it in the best way? How do I find the right solutions? But the fact that it's not a one-time thing, the fact that it isn't in most cases just something that I could just go, oh, okay, cool. I'm past it now. I'm better now. No, I'm getting better. I've made progress. It's in a better space, but it doesn't just go away. And so what is it like for me? Man, it can be hard. It can feel shameful. It really is about grayness rather than sad and happy. I don't, at this point, even think that bad things are going to happen. It's not easy to ask for help, and it's unfortunately not purely going away.